Welcome, friends. Today our talk title is Are You Listening?
What? Did you ever have a conversation in which you feel like it's a one-sided situation in which the other person isn't listening and you can't get them to understand your point of view? Huh. We never have that problem. Anyway, quite often the problem is not that they are not listening, and the problem is quite often that you are not listening. And so the reason we're having butting heads is because neither one of us are actually catching on to the conversation as much as we are trying to express our individualized point of view, which is usually more important, right?
Oh, of course.
But if we actually want to experience and grow and to learn from conversation and a relationship, we have to actually listen. You know, we do have to use critical thinking and to understand exactly what it is that we wish to express. And sometimes what the other person is saying to us will add a little nuance or a different perspective to that which we're trying to say. And so it's quite often invaluable for us to listen to what they're saying and then try to incorporate or find a middle ground or find a rational connection between the two. Ethan Allen, the great American revolutionary, said when he was talking about critical thinking, those who invalidate reason ought seriously to consider whether they argue against reason with or without reason. If with reason, then they establish the principle that they are laboring to dethrone. But if they argue without reason, which in order to be consistent with themselves they must do, they are out of reach of rational conviction, nor do they deserve a rational argument. Quite often when we don't use critical thinking, we don't listen to each other, we really get into an argument, don't we? But we can't get into that argument rationally without using some reason, right? So we have to think about very carefully that which we wish to express that and listen for other possibilities of looking at that from a different perspective. And it becomes very valuable. Then we begin to grow as a result. We begin to grow our own concept of the principle that we're trying to explain as a result.
Yes, and I love that. That was fabulous. And I was thinking of the word that I would use, and I would say that in relationships, we each come adding our own flavor. And we add our own flavor to the relationship, making it a unique relationship. Often David and I will talk about the differences in relationships between people that we know and how unique we all are and how we each so beautifully create what works for us. So you've heard this story before if you know me very well or if you've heard our talks very often, but you're going to hear it again because it's something I fall back on all the time as a remembrance, and it's about this very thing. And so one morning I found myself, not with my wonderful husband here, but with someone else in what would probably be termed an argument. And we were excellent at arguing. We knew exactly how to do it, exactly how to not listen to each other, and eventually enter into what I used to call the silent treatment, which could go for hours or days or even a week, and was not enjoyable. And so one day I thought to myself, now I have to share this piece because I think that the universe lines up for our highest good always. The universe conspires for our greatest good. Are we listening? So I was in the bathroom, brushing my teeth, getting ready for my day. The argument had already taken place and we already weren't speaking. And I remembered this concept of the way the universe works and who I came here to be. And I was a young adult. So I was on a spiritual quest. And I decided that I was just going to let the entire thing go. Maybe he still wouldn't speak to me. Maybe he'd still give me the silent treatment or say have nasty words, but I was going to be God in action and be God in expression anyway. And so I went out and we had our day, and it was a fabulous family day. As soon as I started speaking, he just naturally started speaking. Probably because maybe shock factor that I was speaking, maybe because I had instigated it, maybe because he too had forgotten. I don't know why. We never talked about it. Ha! Interesting point, huh? But because I was the one on the spiritual quest, I was the one exploring this. And it worked. The universe, he, responded to me, and we went about our day. Great family day, had a wonderful experience. Later that afternoon, as we'd gotten home from our activities, I was again in the restroom, taking a shower, getting ready to prepare dinner. And I say this piece because the synchronicity. I had not thought once about what I was doing all day long until I was back in the restroom. So sometimes I think it being in sync, the time when I was alone thinking. And I think it's important to realize when we capture our greatest ideas, when we get our ahas. Is it due to a location? Is it due to a feeling within us? Or what is it for you? So I noticed that, we had a great day. And I instantly felt the anger from the morning. And it really made me chuckle because I thought to myself, I can stay in the good, or I'm at choice to tap into that anger from those old feelings. And that's powerful, folks. Oh my gosh, to know how powerful we are, that we can affect that in our own lives and the lives of others.
You want to have a greater effect on your life and the life of others. Listen carefully, not just to others, but listen to the voice, that little voice within you, that little voice that is telling you what is yours to do. And quite often we feel like, well, it's my life, I can carry on and fine, and I'll go to church on Sunday and then I'll go back and do my life again. And I don't really listen to it all the time. We don't really listen, we're not really in sync with the universe, we're not really listening all the time. Back when Deborah and I first got into ministry, we did music a lot, and we wrote a lot of songs together, and we were performing them together, and those are great times. We should do some more of that, don't you think?
Yes.
And so one day Deborah's walking around the house, and we did a lot of music for other New Thought composers and so on, and Deborah's walking around the house, and she does this quite often. She's singing a song as she's walking around, singing away, and she goes, I really like that song. Who wrote that song? And I said, you did. She said, I did? Yeah, you wrote that song, remember? And I started singing it with her, and she goes, oh yeah, okay. And she realized that it was so much maybe her connection, her oneness with the universe and her oneness with spirit moving through her and expressing through her that she didn't really take credit for it totally. And she didn't really recognize that it was even her that music actually came through. And so I thought it was kind of funny. Are you listening to the spirit right now? Maybe she was listening to spirit more than she was listening to herself. And I thought that was kind of a unique twist in what we're talking about here, actually, where you begin to listen to spirit more than you actually listen to yourself.
Yes, and listening to spirit through song is a marvelous way. Pay attention to what music you listen to and the effect that it has on you. So, as we are listening, have you ever wondered if the universe is listening to you? Listening to your thought? Listening to your ideas? Listening to the way you're showing up? And have you ever wondered why the universe is not listening to you? Have you ever thought, geez, I put this out there, I've had it in prayer, why isn't the universe listening to me? Well, maybe, just maybe, the blame game can stop and we can realize that the buck stops here. It is us not listening to the universe. It is never the universe not listening to us. The universe is a neutral force. And so whatever we are placing into it is showing up. And if it doesn't appear to be, we need to continue to have faith, continue to affirm it, maybe take another look at everything in life and open ourselves up to the greater possibility of that which we claim we desire.
Well, this may simplify it a little bit or may make it a little more challenging to think about. Remember that the word universe means one thing, one idea, one life. And so we are all connected with the universe regardless of what we think. And we are one with it. We are the one life. And so therefore the idea of me being opposed to or separate from is only within my own thinking, is not a universal truth. It's the universal truth is that we are always connected to the point to which we in our mental state are connected with it or in sync with it is important.
Yes. Looking at the individual mind within the universal mind and knowing that the universal mind is neutral. And what gear are you in? Are you listening?